And let's bring in right now one of the authors of this explosive report, Ronen Bergman. He's a staff writer for the New York Times Magazine and author of Rise and Kill First, the secret story of Israel's targeted assassinations. Well, Ronen, that's just a perfect jumping off point, because I will say in the United States, I'm sure in Israel, across the world, we've always looked at the Mossad, we've always looked at the IDF as next level, as the best of the best. Oh, that was in a Mossad operation. Oh, the Mossad always gets their man or their woman. We see it in movies. We read about it in books. And they've been Israelis militarily and in intel community have been painted to be 7-foot giants. Here in your report, they're like, in the U.S. would say, like Mr. Magoo, with tragic consequences. They had the plans for a year and did nothing. Tell us about your reporting.
So sometimes if to follow your line mentioning books and movies and TV series, it turns out that the Israeli James Bond is not more than Inspector Clouseau. And what we saw is the biggest intelligence blunder in 50 years and a day. I think Sinwar and Mohammed Deif did not coincidentally chose that day. It was a Saturday, like the Yom Kippur War, the 73 October War, which was the result of a massive intelligence failure. It was a day after the 6th of October, so the 7th of October, which turned out to be, I assume, the darkest day in the history of Israel, much darker than even the Yom Kippur War. The toll of death is the highest since the Holocaust. The intelligence blunder, if just to put this very concise, and I'm just for 1 minute, please, putting Benjamin Netanyahu aside, intelligence blunder focuses on two main fiascos leading to the third. The first one was the total inability to assess what is in Hamas' mind, what is in Sinwar's mind, Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas in Gaza. Israel thought that he is about being a governor, being the ruler of a state, a small state, but still a state, that he understands that he cannot go into an online war with Israel because he will lose that state. Israel got it wrong. This is one. The Israeli intelligence got it wrong. And it was also Benjamin Netanyahu who got it wrong. He wanted to weaken the... Now I'm bringing him for 1 minute back. He wanted to weaken the Palestinian Authority, have a foe to Israel that would not be considered as a partner. He allowed money coming from Qatar and others. And so Israel thought that Hamas is deterred. National Security Advisor to Benjamin Netanyahu 5 days before said Hamas is afraid of Israel. Hamas will not go to another defiance. They learned their lesson, he said in a public interview to Israeli radio. The second was about their capabilities, not the intentions, but the capabilities. And Adam Golden, my friend and colleague at the New York Times, and myself are publishing this story that you mentioned. A little more than a year before, Israeli intelligence was able to get the detailed plan of the attack that Hamas was planning for a long time, about 40 pages. They codenamed, the Israelis codenamed this Jericho Wall. And it's about breaking a wall. It's about breaking the wall separated between Gaza and Israel, destroying the front, ramping the Gaza division headquarters, killing the soldiers, and allowing many, many hundreds other Hamas militants to storm into Israel and kill civilians, kill children, kill soldiers. We know how it ended. But if you look at the plan, it's amazing. It's shocking. Both as a journalist and as an Israeli, the extent of knowledge that Hamas had about Israel, about Israeli secret fortification in the border. I'm sure that one day we will know how they got this information, but this was not open sources. Please.
Mika.
All right. We're just going to put up here some of what was seen in that report up on the screen for you. This is out of the New York Times. Israel knew Hamas's attack plan, again, more than a year ago. Officials privately concede that had the military taken these warnings seriously and redirected significant reinforcements, Hamas followed the blueprint with shocking precision. The document called for a barrage of rockets at the outset of the attack, drones to knock out the security cameras and automated machine guns along the border, and gunmen to pour into Israel en masse in paragliders, on motorcycles, and on foot, all of which happened on October 7th.
And David,
it played out exactly to the T.
David, just shocking that even 5 days before this attack, Netanyahu and his cabinet were saying, quote, Hamas is afraid of Israel.
So they got it wrong at every level. It's clear that the intelligence failure was deep in the Israeli agencies, that political leadership all the way up to Netanyahu was part of that misreading. I want to ask Ronan. Ronan, this is a stunning piece of journalism. I want to ask you whether the Prime Minister, Bibi, was briefed himself on Jericho Wall in this process. And a second question, your reporting describes an analyst who got it right. While everybody else was ignoring this intelligence, there was a woman who said, this is a plan for war. They're coming after us. She took it seriously. Tell us a little bit more about her and why people didn't listen to her.
When Jericho Wall was obtained, super secret way to have a copy from Hamas. This was the most updated copy of a plan that they started to devise in 2012 and made it more and more precise based on more and more accurate intelligence. Israeli intelligence, both military intelligence and the Southern Command intelligence, looked at that. They did not disregard, but they said this is a sort of a dream, aspirational plan. This is where Hamas wants to be, not where they are able to be. This plan was detailing how 1,680 Hamas commandos will cross the border in 60 different places. Israeli intelligence said they can only have 70 cross in 2 places, so the gap was significant. And nobody saw that the gap is diminishing, except for one person, a veteran analyst who warned that they are closing the gap. She didn't know that they are going to attack. This is the part of the intentions. But she said they will have the capability, and some other intelligence officer just pushed back and said, no, this is imaginative. She even said, we are closing into the 50th anniversary for the Yom Kippur War. Then, in the southern of Israel, everybody thought it's just imaginatory to think that they will cross the Suez Canal. We should not disregard and patronize other forces. We should treat the enemy as they should be treated.
Wow.
All right.
Ronan Bergman of the New York Times, thank you very much for that reporting this morning. Incredible.
It really is.